and keep you waiting for longer than a minute. That would be unacceptable, right? Good afternoon. Thank you so much for staying tuned into your passionate, trustworthy and conversational radio, 95.1 Nigeria Info, number one talk station in Nigeria. And I am excited that you've been a part of the conversation from the morning crossfire. What's happening at Abuja, the Sunnyside Show, and now yours truly is reporting for Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly. Just call me Kim, the Oracle, the digital Oracle, OTF, the fellow Ochanya one, Madam Speaker, and I will say yes to them all. How's your day going, though? What's happening? Good, great, awesome, or Some people, even if it's going great, you don't want to admit it. You don't want billing, but I'm just kidding. I just hope your day is going great for you. Talking about a day going great, sometimes we don't count our blessings enough. So I saw a video that sent chill down my spine. A car, they were just moving on. They're happening in Korea, South Korea precisely. And I'm sure a number of you must have seen that video on social media where the earth literally opened up and swallowed a human being. It might sound exaggerated, but that's what happened, a sinkhole. So apparently they do have areas where sinkholes have been popping up randomly. And it's not as if something that perhaps the geologist or people in the field can read. Like, when a tsunami is coming or the hurricane is coming, it'll tell you, this is going to happen, and can predict the magnitude of it, if it's an earthquake and all of that. But sinkholes, they just come out of nowhere. We're grateful to God we don't have things like that. So this video, I think it was captured by one of the CCTVs they have on the road. A car was in front of it and the bike man was behind the car, and the earth just opened. A sinkhole, a large one, just opened up. And then the car in front of it, it's just a miracle that car did not go down that hole. And it's a deep one. So the car was already halfway, and then the second half of the car was there. But something, I don't know what it is, that just knocked the car and it flipped and went up and survived it. But the bike, the guy behind him, just went right deep. When it's stuff of horror movies, just went in. And then I followed for some days to what's the update? I hope they found him and all of that. He got the bike out, but sadly, the guy died. So you can just imagine minding your business, driving within, your traffic limit and all of that, and then the ground just opens, bam, and it just sucks somebody in. Yikes. I don't know why I'm sharing this story with you, but it just, the pictures refuse to leave my head. It's just weird. Some of those freakish accidents that happen, or weird things that happen, that if you don't have video, it's difficult to explain it to someone. But I think a lot of people have seen tons of these happenings from different parts of the world, enough to scare anyone, that the ground can just open, no warning, no alert, no vibration, no tremor. Sometimes when it's reported that there was tremor, Papi, they'll say, calm down, you have nothing to worry about. It's like, seriously, you haven't given me a reason why the tremor is happening. You're telling me to calm down. But you saw no warning whatsoever, and then the big hole in the ground and sucks everything up. It's crazy, man. But yeah, that's not the gist. It's not even in the story. I would look at some of the big stories that you're talking about today, and I'm sure it's not one of the single stories. Knowing Nigerians, there are other bigger things to look at, but to just remind you of some of the weird, crazy things happening around the world. But we'll come back home looking at some of our big stories here. And just to let you know, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and you can watch, you can join the conversation, you can leave your comments there as much as possible. On Facebook, we're at Nigeria Info Abuja. On YouTube, at Nigeria Info Abuja. If you're on any of the social media, please let me know. And I am a little curious to find out from you, why are you not following us on Twitter? What are we not doing right on X? Let me know. Okay, because I don't see the reason why you're not following us on Twitter. Our X handle is at Nigeria Info Abuja, and we're on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Abuja on Instagram. You should follow all of these handles and keep up with all of the content we put out. I mean, we've got Benga, who's doing so much work on social media, and if you're not following and you're not watching it, it feels like you shouldn't get paid, No, it doesn't feel that way, but please follow us on social media. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, so welcome to the Big Three. Let's look at the big stories driving conversation. And let's start off with Rivers State, where the sole administrator has suspended all political office holders in the state. And I hear, even following reports and comment on socials, that a lot of people are livid and saying, what exactly is going on? Are they suspending democracy in Rivers State? Well, that's what happens when you impose a state of emergency. A lot of the democratic setup are suspended in some sense. In some countries where, it feels like the military has taken over or an administrative setup is put in there. I know that this is still a contentious one in Nigeria and still debated as to how much power the president have in suspending, as what law provides, what courts provide, what constitution stipulates at the end of the day. And quite a number of people, it's still a very fierce debate as to what is should have happened. And for those who are saying you shouldn't have called a state of emergency in the first instance, it should have been a mediation. And those who felt that the state was literally under threat, and that if a state of emergency was not imposed in the fashion that it was by the president, we perhaps would have seen the breakdown of law and order in the state. Now, you can argue that with your colleague in your office and wherever, because that's not the core of our conversation for this particular story. It's looking at the fact that we are seeing further suspension of all political appointments, which some people are like, all right, well, naturally, this should come if you have suspended the governor and members of the state houses of assembly. The political appointee, where exactly do they fit in if their principal has been suspended? Naturally, they should also be suspended alongside. It just comes like a clean sweep for the months that the administrator will be there. So, the sole administrator of Rivers State, Ebas, has suspended all political office holders in the southern state. Mr. Ebas, a retired vice admiral and former chief of naval staff, announced this in a statement issued by his chief of staff on Wednesday evening. The statement said the suspension takes immediate effect. The suspension affected all political appointees of the now suspended governor of the state, Simi Fubara, and the affected appointees include the secretary to the state government, the chief of staff, the commissioners, chairpersons and members of board, council of agencies, commissions, institutions, parastatals, special advisors, special assistants, senior special assistants. The suspended officials were asked to hand over to the permanent secretary or the most senior director where there's no PEMSEC. And this is pursuant to the powers conferred on the administrator of Rivers State, His Excellency Vice Admiral retired Ebok Ete Ebas, CFR, by the President, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the statement reads. So, for those who have forgotten, because other issues have presented itself, which I pretty much doubt, the president on the 18th of March declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. And the president also suspended the governor, Fubara, the deputy governor, Ngozi Ojo, and all House of Assembly members for an initial 6-month period. The president consequently appointed Mr. Ebas as the sole administrator of the state and cited the recent disturbing incidents in the state, including explosion, vandalism of petroleum pipeline linked to political crisis in the state as the basis for his action. Now, this is also a debatable one because there's some people are saying, come on, Mr. President, how is this enough ground for a suspension of the government of the state? They don't think it's solid enough, while others will tell you things can fall through the cracks really fast if it's not addressed as decisively as possible by the president. So there you have it, appointee suspended, and it just feels like, the sole administrator is definitely going to restructure in the sense, put the people he feel are going to bring some level of semblance of normalcy to the state while he's sole administrator at this point in time. So it's taking shape, he's asserting himself, he's going to be there for, who knows, 6 months, the initial, and it doesn't look at the moment like the president, not from the body language, for those who can read body languages, that the president is going to call off the state of emergency anytime soon. So let's see how it pans out and how the people of Rivers State, soak up what is happening to their state and the fact that the government that they voted in, due to some political crisis in the state, have been suspended for a period of 6 months. And with all that is going on, I'm sure that there's a lot of eyes will be on the sole administrator at this point to seeing how he can bring about some bit of normalcy to the state, because that's the condition. I remember the Minister of Information was saying that the only way to call this off is when normalcy returned to the state, some bit of sanity returns to the state. And I remember when I had Kolawole Johnson on Monday, and I was asking him, how do we even begin to know that normalcy has returned? Because it seemed like normalcy has returned this very moment. They're not blowing up pipeline, right? The political actors are not at each other's jugular, right? We're seeing very less presence of them on the media or in the news talking about the issues in the state. So it feels like normalcy has returned already. So why wait 6 months for that? But we know it goes a lot deeper than that, a lot deeper than any sinkhole can swallow up at this point in time. So interesting development, and Rivers State has been one state that has taken a good chunk of the headlines, and not for the best reasons, honestly. It's not been for developmental reasons, even though there's been some governance projects that the governor has done over time. But it's been shrouded with a political controversy since this government came on board, Fubara's government, and the minister of the FCT became the minister of FCT, the former governor of the state. We have been wrapped in the fingers of these actors over their political drama, and it's distracted from the governance in the state, and it's even distracting from a lot of governance in the country. So good move, bad move, well, it's open to all kinds of interpretation, but this is where we are at the moment, and no one knows how soon normalcy is going to return to the state. But the sole administrator is doing what the sole administrator got to do, putting his people and setting up his structure for the while he's going to be there. So come out. I know you don't have a crystal ball and you don't go by the oracle, but how soon is normalcy going to return to the state? Yeah? And is the sole administrator doing all it takes at this point in time to restore that semblance of normalcy in Rivers State? Well, let's get your take. And in your opinion, the people of the state, and we spoke with a resident and a comrade, Emmanuel, I think that was sometime last week, and he said the people are just taking everything in. People try to get home early because you never can tell what's simmering and hoping and about to explode. You never really can tell. Okay, so people are just being careful. They go home early. They just observe before they step out. And even though there's no curfew, but you just get to see people impose it on themselves because you just can't predict. And a place where it's always had the tendency of implosion. We've had militancy, we've had cultism, we've had people, ethnic groups who have ethnic militia. You don't want to put that label, but that's what they are at the end of the day, who are capable of inciting or just, beating that drum of war. And before you know it, we have a situation on our hand. But right now, it does look quiet. It does look peaceful. It does look like people are going about their business and just accepting of the new reality in the state. And it's left for us to see what it translates to at the end of the day. I see the phone lines buzzing already, and Nigerians do have a strong opinion about what's going on there. Let's hear your take on this, and we'll get to the next story. 0700 951 0000. Or 0809 5974 869 or 0809 9930 137. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. This is my first time calling on this.
Your first time? Hold on. The first time caller deserves this check. Take it, my brother.
My name is Eze Tabe. I'm calling all the way from Niger State.
Oh, Eze, thank you for calling us. Go ahead, sir.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you for your good work and everything. You always narrate everything going on.
Thank you.
May God increase your grace and give you more strength to keep it on.
I say amen to the prayer, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Well, like what is happening in Rivers State. Greediness always leads people to emptiness. Yes. Now, I can remember last year when they are saying that some people are planning to bring a military rule in Nigeria. They deny it so. And now it is now starting to happen from the city president. Likewise, like what is happening in Rivers State now. Okay. Former governor of Rivers State sold Rivers State to Tinubu.
Sold Rivers State?
Listen, according to electoral distance. Now, the instead of Tinubu to say the truth and let the state be in peace, he don't want to say because he knows what INEC have done for him. So he can't just try to deny Wiki of his right. And now he posted what do you call it? Another person. He sacked the elected governor and the deputy and brings a military rulership into River State, which is the treasure of the nation. And now the man is in charge, in authority.
All right, sir.
He's also bringing his own people. He sacked the elected ones. So, and there is the treasure of the nation. The power, even the power in River State is more than the power in Abuja or even in Lagos.
All right.
Whatever we are enjoying in this nation comes from river, all those side.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've made your point. Christopher Vandy on Facebook says, first time you're writing, that's good to know. Write some more. I always love to read from you, Christopher. And Clifford Peter, I see you. Joseph Orim says, my take is that the Constitution should be amended to allow the legislature to appoint INEC chairman. We do have a story on INEC chairman coming up in a bit. And Kenneth K, I see you. Thank you very much for your comment on Facebook. Godwin Gimba, good afternoon to you. Olatunde Ibrahim, I see you. Olatunde says the sole administrator is acting a script. And Gompil Solomon, thank you very much for your comment. Now, let's look at one story quickly. The second one, remember, is the top three we're looking at. Now, a bill proposing a first degree as minimum qualification for the position of local government chairman has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. Now, the Punch is reporting this. The bill, jointly sponsored by Deputy Speaker of the House, Ben Kalu, and 8 others, was among the 42 bills passed on Wednesday. Currently, the basic qualification for election as a local government chairman or vice chairman is WAEC, while they enjoy a 3-year term. Just get your WAEC. And I don't know if they stipulate 5 credits in, math and English inclusive in the criteria there, which is something for you to get into any higher institution in Nigeria. You must have your math and English and 5 credits, yeah? So all that is required for you to run for the office of local government chairman or vice chairman is your WAEC result for a term of 3 years. The bill is now saying we need a comprehensive review. The legal and administrative framework governing the local government council need to be looked into. The sponsor of the bill said it should establish a robust legal framework that would enhance the administrative capacity of local government, promote efficient service delivery, transparency, accountability, and further strengthen the democratic culture at the grassroots level. And according to the bill, Section 7 of the Principal Act is amended with a new Section 7 that says there shall be for each local government a democratically elected chairman, a vice chairman who shall be qualified for election if he is an indigent of the local government, has attained the age of 25 years, and has been educated to at least the first degree certificate or its equivalent, which is a HND. He added that a person elected to the office of chairman shall not begin to perform the function of that office until he's declared his asset and liability as prescribed in the Constitution and has subsequently taken and subscribed before the Chief Judge of the state or his nominee the oath of allegiance and the oath of office as prescribed in the 7th schedule to the Constitution. Now, Section 7, subsection 1B of the bill also states that an election to the office of chairman shall be held on a date to be appointed by the responsible electoral body, which shall be held on a date not earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days before the expiration of the term of office of the last holder of that office. And it further states that a candidate for election to the office of chairman shall be deemed to have been duly elected if the candidate is the only person whose name was nominated to the electoral body for election, and if there is more than one candidate, the candidate will be the majority valid vote cast at the election. Then there's also Section 7C of the bill that provides for the election of local government chairman, vice chairman, councillors for a 4-year term and renewable. Section 7D of the proposal also provides a procedure for the removal of a chairman or vice chairman from office. So we're not going to see arbitrary move, just like, oh, you fall out with the governor of the state and bam, you're out the door. Or we're not going to see a move where somebody comes in and to conduct a local government election becomes, a Herculean task for the governor. I mean, we know in this country where just conduct local government elections, set up the structure and do the needful. And then you see an administration run on administrator for like forever. And if they by some miracle manage to pull that off, half the time he goes to the political party in question. And that's why Rivers State was, quite interesting, because instead of going to the PDP, he went to another, third political party and not the APC. And they thought, all right, Fubara, what are you up to? But we're not talking Rivers State with this particular story, because this one is going to cut across board to say the local government chairman should be able to do 4 years instead of 3 years, and their tenure should be renewable, and elections should be conducted within a stipulated window and not allow an administrator or an appointee of the state government or governor stay on indefinitely until whenever the governor pleases. So we should have a proper structure to this. But the interesting bit is that it's not going to just be any average Joe who is going to run for office, that you should at least get a first degree or its equivalent to run for local government chairman. I don't know. Growing up, the picture we have of local government chairman, you don't need to, what is 1 + 1, as long as you can count the money. As long as you're a people person and you appeal to the environment and the government in the state level, that's all it takes. I've run into local government chairman who cannot even speak 2 words of English. And you say, yes, English is not a language. You don't need English to do that. I agree. I'm not debating that with you at this moment. But we're saying at least get an education and be able to expand your mind. You're just capable of asserting yourself. That's what education does. That expansion, that ability for you to think logically and rationally and interrogate a lot of things from an informed, point of view. Because it's not just about, I don't go to school, I need a job, and it must be white collar. It's for you to expand your mind. We're going to have a different conversation as to the quality of education we're getting, but that's what they're asking. But then this is a bill, and this is someone's thinking, and he's going to get buy-in from his legislator. And just in case they don't come to you to ask you what you make of it, I'm asking you, is it something we should prioritize? Is saying, educational qualification matters a lot, even down to the local government level. And this is something that we have to see the entire value chain of it. If we're calling for it for local government, most definitely your governors, most definitely your parliamentarians in your state house and your federal or national assemblies, and most definitely your president. I mean, we have lived through an administration where debating if he had WAEC or not. And it became a political conversation in Nigeria as to WAEC. Okay, how did you make? And classmates were coming out of the woods to say, I was in his class, he was in my class, and all of that. We just thought, how difficult is this? But then he's quite a lot. I'm talking about the former president, Muhammad Buhari, in terms of his military credential, to saying we've had people who are appointed. Well, let's run for a break quickly.
To the man hustling every day to get his daughter through school. The artisans grinding every day.
Hello. My name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk. So yeah, just before the quick commercial, I was talking about the bill seeking fresh educational qualification for local government chairman. It's passed through the second reading, and just curious to find from you what you think about this. And, there are a lot of people who debate and say, see, it's not about your educational qualification. Some have even said, didn't we have a PhD holder, a doctor, and was his administration, outstanding, extraordinary based on, how red he was and the likes of it. And then there are those who will tell you that it does matter, because if you're going for a regular job opening that calls for, certain kind of level, they will ask you for your certificate now. At least the minimum you call for is an ONT. I mean, even for people who are going to work in stores and shops as salespeople, it will be here a minimum of OND. They've even done past. I've seen people who have going for, driving jobs that you think, what do you even need a certificate for? All you need is that certificate that qualifies your competence to drive on the road and that you know the road signs and all. But then you still hear some people demanding, at least he should have something, even as an OND, so that we know that he behaves and comports himself. Some people equate education to decorum. That's very debatable, because if not by that one, oh boy. Well, let's not digress. Let's stay focused on this. But what's your take on this particular bill? Any reservation, or you quite endorse it? Something to look at. The second story. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Adela Victor from Pisalagi.
Talk to us, sir.
It's a good move. I really support it. Because as a matter of fact, we have to sanitize our political system. Our system allows all comers, questionable character, dropouts. People don't have anything. You just go. So people, you see, people want to buy for election. Some of these people who buy for election, if they have a political father, they will support it. Whether he or she is qualified. So we should stop all this mess, so that we should not allow all comers to come into policy. This is why they have messed up the political system. People have credible people. People who are well educated. Maybe. But another side is this. You see, as you know, some people will go and look for certificate, buy certificates in order to beat the system. We know this. We know this. Particularly when you look at some people you have primary school certificate, then you are qualified. I know some people will not like to support this system because they are comfortable with the primary six. We know them, but I will not mention that name. So therefore, it's a good move. But my side is that some people will also appreciate it, because they use money to buy certificates in order to build the system. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello.
Tim.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my dear sister. I agree with the last caller. Tim, what about a staff illiterate that get money and you have BSc, you don't have more? Can I tell you one thing?
Is money a criteria, though, for running for office? Do you need people with money? No, I want my country to get better. Aren't we talking about the future for Nigeria at this point?
Where by the time you and I go for primary, you have BSc, me, I'm in staff illiterate, and if I pass one wall of primary six, they tell you to give delegates 10,000. You cannot pay. Me, I can give the 100,000. What do you think is going to happen? By the time I win primary, what will you say? You will say, I'm not going to school. See, all these things. The same people who are saying, can many of them bring their certificate out? You remember during this government, when they want to nominate the screening of a minister, one of the ministers said that he finished primary and secondary school in 9 years. How did that happen? Minister of Environment from Benue, he claimed again that he is a doctor professor. Kim, how can somebody be doctor and professor at a time? You have to from doctor to a doctorate to get a professorship. But he's in Nigeria now. He claimed that he's a doctor and professor. He was a commissioner then, a former commissioner in Benue. Now he's president environment, water resources minister. He told us that he spent 9 years to finish primary and secondary school. In which abroad, Akpabio say it can happen.
But Adeumi, thank you very much. But you can be a medical doctor and be a professor. Nigerians, we love the title, so you see a lot of people who want to carry everything at once. And tell you, I've gone for an event where somebody was introduced and they didn't put all of his title, and the man was just feeling incomplete, like feeling so like he was humiliated because he didn't read out all his title. I know that we as a people, we just love to slam all the titles on our name. I don't know what it does, but if we had 247 electricity, I would say, okay, brag on. But the way the things there, it just feels like, dude, come on. But that's not what we're talking about. Adeumi, thank you very much for your perspective. Hafsat Mazu says, Kim, I think education should matter a lot so that we'd have knowledgeable people in our government. All right, that's Hafsat's take on this. And Frederick Friday Bala Mango, I see you also. Let's draw in the third story so you have all the stories at once. Now, it's an interesting read if you go to the Vanguard paper, where Vanguard is writing and saying that they can authoritatively confirm that there's a move Well, I'm not going to read it the way Jide Ajani wrote it in the Vanguard, because it will just give an impression. It implies setting, machinations, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, not at all. But yeah, that they have it on good authority that move is being made for the new INEC chairman ahead of perhaps the next general election to replace Professor Mahmood Yakubu, the national chairman of INEC at the moment. His tenure would end in November this year. He would have served 2 terms. So naturally, you would say, who is going to come on board? And it feels like within the corridors of power, not brightly lit corridor at the moment, that move as to who would become the next INEC chairman is already going on. And as at press time, Vanguard investigation revealed that the president is yet to fully yet to be fully boarded on the move. However, there are forces pulling the strings from outside Aso Rock Presidential Villa, known as Friends of the President. Like I said, I'm going to leave all the conspiracy out of it, but to acknowledge the fact that, yes, the INEC chairman's tenure ends in November, and there definitely would be, all of the moves going on as to who becomes the next INEC chairman ahead of the next general election in Nigeria. And if it's going to go by the constitutional provision. Now, under democracy with a written constitution, we have provisions on how they are elected, and we know that the president is the one who recommendations are given, or he makes his appointment and goes through the National Assembly to become the substantive chairman of INEC. Now, people have said over time that perhaps we should change how the electoral chairman is brought in, and some have said basically the National Assembly. Others are saying maybe elected, maybe this, maybe that, maybe all of this. But what the law provides, it gives the president the power to appoint who he wants as the INEC chairman. Nigerians are now saying, in order to make it truly independent, there's certain moves that need to happen. First, you don't need to appoint the chairman of INEC anymore, Mr. President. We need to amend provisions to allow for an independent way of presenting a chairman for the commission, so that they're completely not under the control or the strings of whoever is in power for the next election. So it's still one that if you ask Nigerians, they will tell you something different on how they see best that the INEC chairman should be consulted, should be appointed. The INEC it's an important, very important body. It conducts the election in the country, and we know that a lot of people have over time either blamed or applauded the commission for the success or not of the election in the country. And the present INEC chairman is one who's received a lot of backlash, particularly in the 2023 election, where promises were made to upload in real time results to IREP. And it didn't happen real time for the presidential election, even though we saw real time for the governorship election. And people just felt like, hold up. Why conveniently didn't happen real time for this particular election, which is perceived by a lot of people as one of the most important elections in the country? And it kind of like damped and clouded the credibility of that particular election till date. There are a lot of Nigerians who believed that the numbers and the figures were manipulated, and it doesn't matter if the Supreme Court agrees with the outcome at the end of the day. So it's back to, we're going to have a new chairman, maybe not, you never can tell. And yeah, I mean, the IGP of police with age and all of that, but still stayed on, so you never can really tell with Nigeria. Interesting things spring up every now and again. So it's putting it as shopping for against the next election, like plotting all the graphs and putting all the right people to just manipulate the process. I don't want to see it that way. I like to have some, give some benefit of the doubt that they're going to want to have the right people to conduct the right election the right way in the country. And if by the provisions your tenure ends in November, then let's see who comes in next, and hope that that woman or man. Have we had an INEC chairman that is an INEC chairwoman? It will not be a bad idea. If there must be a competent woman somewhere who can do the job, don't you think? All right, so yeah, Someone says on YouTube, left a comment there as to how the INEC chairman should come, saying that, I think it was on YouTube he left it. I'm going to check if it's YouTube or Facebook, and was saying that the INEC chairman should be elected elected how? Can you speciate? Because sometimes when you see these things, I'm a little lost as to what exactly the point you're driving at. So I would want you to build on how best you think we should get an INEC chairman, because in any way you look at it, it would require an amendment of our laws too. So those are the three stories we're putting on the table. Call me up, 0700 951 0000. Hello.
Good afternoon, Auntie Kim.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, I greet Adewemi, I greet Salasi, and I greet you too this afternoon. Auntie Kim.
Yes, sir.
My name is Yaya, the head boy.
Go ahead, Yaya.
Yes, being seeking fresh educational qualification.
Yes, sir.
What makes the difference? What is the difference? Somebody who carry, I don't know how many qualifications that day was using English to abuse someone. You have a smiling mouth. You are full at 70. You are this and this. So what is the difference? Yes, qualification is good, but character matters. We are looking at the character. Where your qualification will be able to tell you that corruption is making someone is dying, no hospital, no medicine in the hospital. Corruption is making someone had an accident because of bad road. That is the more qualification we needed as our character, and that is what we needed. So,
but you know that we'll be making this move and reforms in education where we're clamoring that we have too many out of school children, and we're looking at the future where everyone will get at least basic education. And basic education, hopefully they will aspire to something even more. These things are not mutually exclusive now. You could have character and still get your basic education or advanced education in this case.
I quite agree that we need more education, but education without the character. You can be we have seen a professor who ate someone with and make him win election where he didn't win. So that is it's on its own. Yes, I'm not saying that education we should just come. But let's mold our character more than this qualification of the thing.
All right.
And in Rivers, is this man suspending political appointees? Is it a part of peace? Is it a part of him to restore peace in Rivers State? That everyone should go.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
This money that was given to him, he should tell us Naira or how much was given to him in Naira.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, is that a part of restoring normalcy to the state is what Yaya the Head Boy is asking. Let's hear another caller. Hello. You're welcome.
I greet you specially.
I greet you too, sir.
About the INEC chairman, this is Edaban Goshi. He has fulfilled his mission by putting Nigeria in the situation that Nigeria is now. Make him go. We don't want him there again. You see, if I have my way, they pay him about 400 billion to purchase the IRF before the 2023 general election. By the end of the day, they still boycott the IRF and use mouth and use hand and do whatever they want to do. People are there in the collation center shouting, say, no, they cannot stop you, they will continue. For what? Taxpayers' money, they wasted all the money. If I have my way as he's leaving the office, he will spend the rest of his life in jail.
Okay, easy now.
Yes. No, he wasted Nigerians' effort, the whole taxpayers' money, 400 billion, that's more money. He wasted the whole money. What you promised us, you cannot give it to Nigerians. People are shouting, he said, no, I want to do my way. So let him go. Let him go. If Unana make him go this night.
All right. Thank you.
That's my take.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, Elder is correct, actually, because a coalition of civil society organizations who monitored the 2023 election are also, asking that INEC account for the 400 billion that was spent on the general election generally. So it's not about just IREV itself, but the conduct of the 2023 election in total. Hello.
Hello, knock. Is someone in the house?
Yes, I am here, my brother. Welcome in.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you doing now?
I'm all right. Welcome.
This is Yomi from Gariki.
Talk to us.
How is the work?
Going pretty well.
Yeah, for me, 400 billion is not a small money. I will only advise that the only way forward is the fact that we need to revisit how INEC chairman is being appointed in this country. And they have to look at the constitution of the country. Because as we speak, it's only Mr. President that have the rights to appoint anybody as INEC chairman. He might wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh, Kim Nwachukwu is the INEC chairman. You understand? He has the right under the Nigerian constitution. So the civil society group, the opposition, they can start to push for them to make that amendment. You understand? So if it's either by election or any which way, you need to revisit the constitution. You understand? So that's just the way I look at it. You understand? Like Bangoshe, I'm greeting you. Where's my chicken?
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, Danjuma Pam says he's watching all the way from Jos. Thank you, my Jos people. I hear the weather is pleasant in Jos at the moment. Bright says, for me, I would like the appointment of the INEC chairman should be made to be voted by Nigerians through online polls, which will enable our diasporans participate also. So you want Nigerians to vote for who becomes the INEC chairman, and then he conducts the election. Isn't that too much work, Nigerians? Too much work, it seems like. But hey, if you want to be involved that much, that's still cool. All right, let's go back to you now. Hello.
Hello, Flora.
You're welcome.
I greet you.
I greet you in return.
No, I'm not coming from the agency. I asked, is it the city or the Tinubu a question? I said, what qualifies a professor to become the INEC chairman? You see, to me, I think we're supposed to read it in the high institution as a course. And hello?
We're listening. Go ahead, sir.
Why? Because if you come to during election, you will see all these youth coppers. They will ask them to go for training for 2 weeks. Even after the training, they cannot give us the person's result. To me, I think we should make it as a subject so that we know that we are facing the capable people on the INEC. You understand? You will not just conduct election and ask us to go to court. Automatically, you are telling us that we should go to court and get the right result. You understand? To me, I think we should make it as a subject. And anyone coming as an chairman will know that this is my profession. You understand? That is it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's run through comments on WhatsApp. Kim, this kind of sinkhole is supposed to swallow a wicked David, your imagination is all the time on overdrive. The sinkhole should just open and consume. As if the sinkhole opens, it will not consume everyone within the sinkhole vicinity. All right. Yes, I called it sinkhole, like it's a sinkhole, my people. Yes, the administrator is called sole administrator, which means it's going to be governing the state alone with some aid. To me, the best thing that's happened to Rivers State is the state of emergency declared by the president. We don't expect the president to fold his arms and watch any part of Nigeria become a war zone, and constitution permit him to declare a state of emergency in any state where there's an upheaval. Oludade Abiodun's take. Tony Ode, SWAT is out of the building already. Power outage in my hood. The heat is unbearable. Regardless, I'm positive and happy, says Stokwe. What's the minimum qualification to be elected in the legislative chamber, says Stokwe? Well, you're asking a question? Well, so far so good. It's been most of them. It's the WAEC. Run for president. A good number of people who have become our legislators are well read, so they are not ashamed to present that. A good number of them are schooled outside the country. So if you look at the legislative on the state on the national level, quite a number of people who have presented themselves are people who are well read, well schooled at this point in time. So it's not been much of an issue. I mean, the Red Chamber literally almost became a retirement ground for governors who have gone through the ranks and are quite so much at this point in time. Concerning the issues on ground in Rivers State, why are they deceiving themselves by treating headaches with cancer medication when they know the right medication to what is bothering them? For me, Wike is the problem in Rivers State. The president should call him to order. So is it too powerful for the president to put him in check? I don't understand. Maxwell from Rivers State is asking. Boy, oh boy, this is a very long read. Patrick and Newcar, I'll take half of it. The happening in Rivers State still beats my imagination. I still don't understand why are lawyers giving different excuses for and against the president's decision. For those who think the president has no right to suspend an elected governor and state House of Assembly member, I do think that. But what do we do to correct this anomaly imposed by the president? For those who think the president is right, I hope in future when another president does the same to your state, you will not shout. Rivers State has political crisis caused by people the president know about. The explosion on the pipeline till date, the president and our security agencies have not been able to tell us who's behind it. I think what the president and the leadership of the National Assembly did was to take over power by force from PDP in Rivers State. What's happening in Rivers State is because the president and FCT minister want to take over the state and hold it against them in 2027. Rivers people should take their destiny in their hands by going out to vote their choice in 2027. If the highest office in Nigeria, the president doesn't have a first degree, so why should the local government chairman need a degree? Ambassador Afam is asking. I hail the oracle. The local government in Nigeria is a very serious problem. I will suggest not just degree, but people with great previous experience in handling situation. We need visionary elder statesmen to handle the continuous decay in this important level of governance. May Nigeria grow beyond what it had ever been, says Banki in Wuse too. Who school help, who degree help and all of that. I mean, you people are talking about school. Isn't that environment also about character and learning? Because a caller said, we need people with character. Is it about the education, but the character? School is supposed to help enforce those things also. It's about character and learning. You should learn intellectual expansion and build on your character also. So if we're not getting that, it shows that there's a deficit in our schooling system and our learning system and educational system that we need to improve on, because it should be about character and learning, really. Israel says, we're still concerned as to who replaces Yakubu Mahmoud, but at least let's face the disappearance from the INEC portal first. That alone should be a therapy for some people's pain. Kim, allow people vent their pain. South Korean leader was recently prosecuted. Jacob Zuma of South Africa has been in prison. Calling prison for top government leaders who shouldn't be seen as an abomination. Good afternoon, Israel says. All right. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, Tim.
At least you'd not say good night, so we're good. Go ahead.
My name is GM Frederick from Masaka.
Talk to us.
All right. What is the procedure for making it possible that the INEC chair would be elected instead of selected? I think if it's possible to be done so, I would prefer it happen that way, because if anybody is said to become an INEC chair, it's supposed to be one who the nation and the people of the country want. And then before then, he should actually be known. His antecedents and conduct should be known so that people will know who they're actually voting for. And then talking about the Rivers State issue, I think we've overflogged it, but the reason why it's being overflogged is because it's something that is not dying anytime soon. And the evil that is happening around that is really, really appalling. Nigeria is in a sorry state. It's in a sorry state. I just hope that the end of this thing just come anytime soon, so that then we'll go past it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Kim.
Yes, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Good afternoon. This is Tyra.
Welcome, Tyra.
As far as I'm concerned, in terms of educational qualification for them, for me, it doesn't matter. What matters is the character. and those that have good name that wants to write their name in good. That is just it, the character. It's not even about the what about those other who are so well read and everything, and then they still cannot control themselves and don't even behave like those who like people who went to school. So that one is even by the way. For River State, is that they have done what they want to do. And so for those who read them, it's fine. Like I said, when one goes, another one enters. If it happens to your own, don't cry. If you see what is wrong and you say that is right because of ethnicity or whatever, then it's okay. If you are afraid to speak the truth or call the name of one man or one woman, for me, I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not that kind of person. I will see it as it is. And told me, my greatest problem is INEC. INEC. Because if it is a same country, Mahmoud Yakubu will not even be sitting there now. He will not be sitting there now with what he did. But he's sitting there comfortably, and they are shopping for another replacement for him. Because if everything we are talking about today, we want to change things in 2027, I don't think that allowing these people again, the president to be the one to give us an INEC chairman will be the right thing. In any form that we are going to go about it, whether it will take us even 1-2 years or a hardest site, let it be. But let him not be the one to appoint INEC chairman. Because this is where their hopes are. Because it's coming in now. And they are saying, oh, it's a man that voted. It's a lie. Among them is the third person. He didn't win an election. So the INEC chairman must come from somewhere else, not from the president.
All right.
That's just my own take. Because this year, every time going from this into, what do you call it? Collection center. From one collection center to the other, then they change the figures. Then at the end of the day, what we are crying for,
all right, Tyra.
We go back to nothing.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Tyra. Lucas Almeida, the headphone is giving you feedback. There's an echo. Sorry about that. All right, let me know if it's any better now. Hello?
Hello, Madam King.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all our callers and the locals of Nigeria Info. Dr. Najidi from Lucy.
Go ahead, sir.
Madam King, what do we really want? Remember, most callers now, they are getting certificates. But these are the same people complaining that because Tinubu doesn't have certificate, that's why he's doing what he's doing. Madam King, when people are called, it should be like, can you now hear or say by yourself as the moderator? Look at the caliber of people condemning this laudable move by the National Assembly.
All right, we need to go for a break.
It should be character. How do you get character with that?
All right.
Your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.